In the last lecture, we saw how we can create a mixin, outsource it in a new file, and then use it in two different places. That, of course, is a huge thing because it allows us to create reusable code snippets or data pieces or whatever, which we then can use across our application. We see it here with the lists, which I can now filter and so on. Now, the interesting thing is, we also see in the app.view file that whilst our mixin, the fruit mixin, has the data property itself and adds something to our data property, we still seem to have the text, which is exclusively in the app.view file, work correctly, as we can tell here. So Vue.js cleverly merges our mixin into our existing Vue instance. The merging process generally is such that it doesn't destroy the data in our Vue instance. So the Vue instance, the Vue component, is the part who's always right. But it tries to add the new things added by the mixin to the existing instance. That is an important takeaway, that it doesn't destroy anything there. Now, it also has, for some things like lifecycle hooks, the behavior that we are able to provide a lifecycle hook in a mixin and in our component or instance, and both will get executed, even if it's the same name. Then the order is mixin first, thereafter the component. Let me show you what I mean. I will add a new method here to my mixin here, and it's the created method, so this created lifecycle hook. I want to print created here. And that means that now already if I open the console and I reload, we see created twice. Because we used the mixin twice, it adds the created method here. Therefore, both the app.view file and the component in the list.view file both execute this created lifecycle hook because the mixin adds it. Now let's say our root component here also, or this list component, excuse me, also has its own lifecycle hook. So here, the same name, created, we print inside list created hook. Now with that, if I save this, if I reload the app, we see created, and then inside list created hook. This was the order I was talking about. Mixin first, then the component. So the component always has the last word. It's able to override changes introduced by the mixin, because that generally, as said before, follows the behavior that the mixin is not able to destroy anything. The component always acts last. This is how we can add mixins to components, how we can add functionality, how it cleverly gets merged, and how our component always still has the control. Let me next dive into global mixins, what they are and when and how you might use those.